market until you are sure that your mother didn't go to the market that day. And by the way, today, the 3 years since my mother died, I'm celebrating the anniversary of her death. May her soul rest in peace. But I'm making the point, if I had Femi Falana in the Supreme Court of Nigeria, I can go to sleep. If I have Olisa Agbakoba in the Supreme Court of Nigeria, I can go to sleep. If I have Michael Zokome in the Supreme Court of Nigeria, I can go to... There are certain people that you know that their presence may not solve the problem, but it creates a sense of affirmation. Today, women in Nigeria are asking for a place. And by the way, I've always supported that. I don't think women should be asking for 30%. They should be asking for 50%. But let me tell you, don't clap yet. My conclusions are different from your own. If you are going to give women 50%, and please give them 50%. But they will not be Yoruba women. They will not be Igbo women. They will not be Hausa women. They will not be Fulani women. They will be women from people like us who are not even anywhere in the Constitution. Let them be women. But we can't, because otherwise, what you do is you just continue to reinforce inequality. A system must be so fair that it understands that nobody who is a citizen is on an excursion. Every citizen has a right. So finally, I think that the president of Nigeria must because all these executive orders are meant to correct wrongs. There must be an executive order or an amendment of the Constitution that defines what is the status, the religious status of the Nigerian state, and who has the right and the power to take life without a process. We cannot have a country where somebody comes in the name of whatever may be your motivation. A woman cannot say that I gave birth to this child, I carried her in my womb, therefore I'm going to kill her, even if she does, because she's exercising what she thinks is right. The system will tell her, you may have carried her in your womb, but you have no right over her life. A country where anybody can just wake up and say, you are accused of blasphemy, you are accused of... We're not in a theocracy, we're in a democracy. There must therefore be sanctions and punishment. Because somebody goes and burns my church or burns a mosque, what are the consequences? Over 40 years now, we've been going back to rebuild our churches whenever they are burned. The Nigerian state doesn't care. There must be an order that holds a governor accountable, that holds those to finding criminals who are defiling religion, who are killing people in the name of religion. They have no right to kill even their own people. So for me, these are some of the fundamental issues. The Constitution is very clear. The Constitution is very clear about the boundaries of religion. But we have a country where right now, as I'm talking to you, there are many federal universities where there are no churches, there are no mosques. What are the reasons? Many universities, land has been provided for the building of churches. But vice chancellors, chairmen of governing councils are turning a blind eye. I therefore demand that the president of Nigeria, by executive order, must say that every church, every worship, every system, every federal institution, whether it's medical, whether it is educational, must reflect what Nigeria reflects. Even if there are 2 Christians or 2 Muslims, a place must be provided for them. And I want to make this appeal. I don't know how else to make it, because there are universities that are now, the universities in Nigeria, under you, Mr. President, your good friend was Vice Chancellor in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. But now, universities have been so provincialized that the universities are now literally mere ethnic clubs, where you cannot, the idea that Professor Philip Okonkwo can be Vice Chancellor in Ibadan, even if he's the most well-connected, is unthinkable. The fact that Afe Babalola, who has sold everything to build a university, you make him Vice Chancellor of either Usman Danfodio or University of Nigeria and Nsukka, is unthinkable. Because like joke, we have come to a point in Nigeria where the federal government is spending money consolidating prejudices, ethnicity, and deepening the cleavages of local classes. The result, of course, is that we cannot be a people. So when Nigerians talk about ethnicity and so on, it is because the government has not done enough to enforce that. Because if you insist that the vice chancellors because the impression that governments create is that we built this university for this community. So you go to many universities, as I said, the governors, even in state universities, the governors take pride in ensuring that only our son. And that is why the universities have become so convoluted in Nigeria. Every day strike, every day strike. Because people who are holding the reins of power, many of them are not eminently necessarily qualified. They are just qualified by virtue of religion, or they are qualified by ethnicity. So I close by saying Nigeria needs to grow, Nigeria needs to develop, Nigeria needs to democratize. But that it is important that to make Nigerians treasure democracy, to make Nigerians feel confident about democracy, we must appreciate that the democratization of development, that is that the federal government must make sure that it says it has a map that tells where citizens are. Because if you don't democratize development, you cannot develop democracy. So my conclusion is that the democratization of development leads to the development of democracy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Of course, he has not disappointed us in any way. Those of us who have been following the trajectory, his antecedents, and what have you, he has not disappointed in any way. In fact, he has reinforced the statement he made just about 2 weeks ago about not having churches in some universities. I believe that statement was made by you about a week or two ago. Now we have eminent juries and political icons in the House to discuss the issue raised by our own Bishop Matthew. Of course, because our time is fast spent, our Papa, Chief Obasanjo, will speak last, and when he speaks, nobody speaks again here. To that extent, we will now call on our in-house panelists, and there are quite a number of them here, 6 of them. Because our time is fast spent, we are going to allot to you 3 minutes. 3 minutes to discuss the paper, so that the audience will have at least the opportunity to ask 3 questions. That is, the question will be distributed 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So that we'll save time, so that we can go and prepare for our lunch and tonight's dinner party. Now, in presenting his paper, which dovetailed in the need to democratize development because we can democratize our polity, Bishop Kukah touched on a number of issues. He made reference to the American Constitution and the inspiration the Americans had in bringing about their constitution, ideological, historical, and the rest. But he concluded that our own constitution has no inspiration. It was a kind of ad hoc arrangement. Just gather for and some people go and put up the. And to him, those who found themselves in the Constitutional Assembly, saw it as a means to an end. So, without wasting your time, I will start with our own Femi Falana, Senate of Nigeria, who will speak to us on the issue.
Thank you for joining us again on the News Hour on Biscon Television. I'm Stella Opara. In the high points of the news, federal government to mop up 10.2 million out-of-school children in 4 years. Fire guards Kwara High Court complex. In business news, banned sachet beverages contain 30% alcohol, says NAFDAC. On the foreign scene, British King Charles returns to London for expected cancer treatment. And in the world of sports, Roma keen to sign Nigeria's Maduka Okoye. Now the news in full. The federal government on Tuesday pledged its readiness to mop up the 10.2 million out-of-school children from the streets to classrooms by 2027. The Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Sununu, disclosed this when he paid an official visit to the newly inaugurated headquarters of the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children in Abuja. Sununu said in spite of conflicting data on the number of out-of-school children, the federal government would see to it that the number was reduced to the barest minimum. The minister added that in reducing the number, stakeholders must work through a multifaceted and multidimensional approach to make history. Sununu noted that the ministry would be introducing incentives for students who desired to pursue education programs in the College of Education and universities. He added that no Almajiri school will be shut down, but that a census will be taken to develop guidelines for reviewing the curriculum in Almajiri schools. Now, Kwara State's new High Court complex, located in the government reservation area Ilorin, the state capital, was on Tuesday engulfed by fire. The main building and offices located in the complex were damaged by the fire. The fire, which was noticed at around 7:25 a.m., reportedly damaged the 40 offices and 3 open courtrooms, the registry department and the litigation office. The fire, according to the State Fire Service, was said to have been triggered by a surge in electricity supply to the area. A statement by the head of media and publicity of the Kwara State Fire Service, Hassan Adekunle, confirmed the fire incident. Adekunle said firemen were alerted to the blaze through a distress call which the firefighters responded to. In another development, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission on Tuesday said plans are underway to end gas flaring in 2030. The NUPRC Chief Executive Officer, Gbenga Komolafe, disclosed this while delivering his speech at the 8th Sub-Saharan Africa International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference holding in Lagos. According to Komolafe, the NUPRC is effectively spearheading the national drive to achieve the zero-flare target by 2030 and net zero carbon emissions by 2060. This, he said, will be achieved through several initiatives, including the Nigeria Gas Flare Commercialization Program. The NUPRC boss explained that Nigeria is on track to meet its environmental stewardship obligations. He stated that analysis of the European Union's emissions database for Global Atmospheric Research Database shows that Nigeria occupies a distant 165th position in the global ranking of top emitters, with a greenhouse gas emissions per capita at 1.88 tons carbon dioxide equivalent per capita per year, representing just 0.13% of the global total. Now, over 42,000 practicing nurses in Nigeria migrated abroad in search of greener pastures in the last 3 years, Mr. Farouk Abubakar, Registrar of Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, NMCN, said on Tuesday. NMCN is an umbrella body of Nigerian nurses and midwives. It is the only legal, administrative, corporate, and statutory body charged with the performance of specific functions on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria to ensure the delivery of safe and effective nursing and midwifery care to the public through quality education and best practices. Abubakar, who spoke during an appearance on a television program, also claimed that 15,000 nurses moved out of the country in 2023. While regretting that the number of Nigerian practicing nurses migrating to other countries was fast increasing, he assured that the federal government was taking measures to stop the development. According to him, the Federal Ministry of Health, in particular, had initiated measures aimed at ameliorating the plight of Nigerian nurses, some of which he said were raising their salaries and allowances. Recall that the nurses who have vehemently opposed the council's new guidelines, claiming it was one of the ways the federal government is trying to deny them the right to seek greener pastures outside the shores of the country, embarked on protests across the country on Monday. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll bring you business news. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Biscon TV News. Now to business news. National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has said that the alcoholic content in sachets or small bottles of less than 200 ml is 30%. NAFDAC, however, said the percentage is too high, noting that beer contains only 4 to 8% alcohol. The agency disclosed this in a press statement made available to newsmen by the head of Public Relations Office, NAFDAC, Christiana Obiazikwo. The statement was tagged "What Nigerians Should Know About Alcohol in Sachet and Less Than 200 ml PET Bottles." NAFDAC commenced the enforcement of the ban on alcoholic beverages in sachets, PET and glass bottles of 200 ml and below on February 1, 2024. The Director General of the agency, Professor Mojisola Deyeye, during a press briefing in Abuja, noted that as of January 31, 2024, no such beverages were registered with the agency. You're still watching Biscon TV News. Still to come is foreign news. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now to foreign news. British King Charles returns to London for what is widely expected to be further treatment following his cancer diagnosis. Charles and Queen Camilla flew by helicopter to Buckingham Palace from the private Sandringham home on Tuesday and were driven the short distance to nearby Clarence House. It was announced last week that the head of state has a form of cancer, and at the weekend, he issued a statement praising all those organizations which support cancer patients. King Charles had postponed all public-facing duties, but is continuing with behind-the-scenes work on his red boxes of state papers. The Queen has been carrying out her royal diary of engagements and last week said her husband was doing extremely well under the circumstances. She said the King, who underwent his first bout of cancer treatment last week, had been very touched by all the messages of support he had received from the public. The King and Queen arrived as downpours swept across London, and King Charles was photographed waving to well-wishers. The King's diagnosis followed 3 nights in a private London hospital, where he was treated for an enlarged prostate. The Prince of Wales may step in to represent his father at events, and it has been reported William and his family are spending half-term at their Norfolk home, Anma Hall, which is on the King's Sandringham estate. You're watching Biscon TV News. Still to come is sports news. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Biscon TV News. Now to the world of sports. Roma is reportedly eager to sign Super Eagles goalkeeper Maduka Okoye from fellow Italian Serie A club Udinese when the summer transfer window opens for business. Okoye joined Udinese on a permanent deal from Watford last summer, and despite taking him some months to get playing time, the Nigerian is now a regular starter in Italy. The 24-year-old has also done quite well in the colours of Udinese so far this season, after keeping 3 clean sheets in 8 matches across all competitions for the club. His encouraging performances for the Little Zebras have now led to interest from Roma, who wants him to replace the outgoing Rui Patricio, according to a report from RomaPress.net. Okoye, meanwhile, had another magnificent performance in goal for Udinese, which travelled away to the Allianz Stadium and defeated Juventus 1-0 in a Serie A game on Monday. The former number 1 goalkeeper for the Super Eagles was in an inspired form as he made 6 saves and had 2 other clearances to help Udinese beat Juve away for the first time since 2015. We'll take another break. When we come back, we'll bring you entertainment news. Join us again. Welcome back. You're watching Biscon TV News. Now to entertainment news. Asisat Oshala, a prominent female footballer, has criticized popular blogger Tunde Ednut and social media critic Very Dark Man for their attack on Alex Iwobi following the Super Eagles' AFCON loss. Newsmen reported that some Nigerians took to Iwobi's social media pages to criticize his performance in a destructive manner, attributing the Super Eagles' failure in the 2023 AFCON to him. Both Very Dark Man and Tunde Ednut expressed their disappointment with Iwobi's performance during the match. Following their actions, Oshala called out the two on her Instagram story for bullying her football colleague Iwobi. The female striker condemned their behavior, stating that she had experienced similar treatment in the past and understood the negative impact it could have. And that's it for now on Biscon Television News, compiled and produced by Adebisi Elegunde. Now the last line. Zig Ziglar said, "You were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win." Thank you for staying with us. I'm Stella Opara.
To ask 3 questions. That is, the question will be distributed one here, one here, and one over there. So that we'll save time, so that we can go and prepare for our lunch and tonight's dinner party. Now, in presenting his paper, which dovetailed in the need to democratize development because we can democratize our polity, Bishop Kuka touched on a number of issues. He made reference to the American Constitution and the inspiration the Americans had in bringing about their Constitution, ideological, historical, and the rest. But he concluded that our own Constitution has no inspiration. It was a kind of ad hoc arrangement. Just gather for and something, go and put up the. And to him, those who found themselves in the Constitutional Assembly, saw it as a means to an end. So, without wasting your time, I will start with our own Femi Falana, Senate of Nigeria, who will speak to us on the issue raised, especially on the issue of corruption. For 3 minutes, Mr. Falana, please.
Thank you very much. Number one, let me congratulate Area Feba Balola SN for bringing us together on this occasion, and to assure Bishop Kuka that the ugly past is not behind us. My Lord Bishop, I need his attention. My Lord Bishop, I'm saying that the ugly past is not behind us at all. Because today, the level of corruption in Nigeria has assumed a very dangerous dimension. We have a situation where highly placed public officers steal money meant for building hospitals, and people are dying on our roads. They steal money meant for ecology, to fight erosion, to deforest certain part of the country. So when a country gets to that stage, corruption is now a crime against humanity. And for the new government, the president must show leadership. Happily, the wife of the president said recently in Lagos, my family will have no problem with your money because we have made enough money. Therefore, I'm urging the president to lead an anti-corruption crusade so that this country, the largest concentration of black people on earth, can take its rightful place in the committee of nations. Right now, we are in trouble as a people. There is somebody here who was our president. If you were accused of corruption and your case was before the EFCC or the ICPC, you will not be appointed to a position of authority. We must go back to that era. Some of those who are going in and out of the villa are standing trial for looting the treasury of this country. So wrong signals must not be sent to our people and the international community. My Lord Bishop, and I tell you this all the time, don't agonize but organize, my Lord. If you know a university where there is a mosque and churches are not allowed, please go to court. It is discriminatory, it is illegal, and the court will come in. The other one on women, there is a judgment of the Federal High Court which is valid and subsisting, that women shall be given 35% appointment in all government institutions. The judgment is not being complied with. We hope the new government will look at this. The final one, again, my Lord, if anybody is killed in this country, either by armed robbers, kidnappers, or other criminal gangs, you can sue the government to prosecute the criminal elements, and if you cannot find them, you can sue the government to pay compensation to the family. A young boy was killed in Ghana through drowning. The boy was drowned, and we approached the ECOWAS court, and the court ordered that $250,000 be paid to the parent, not because the government of Ghana was guilty, but the court felt the government of Ghana did not punish those who were responsible for the drowning. Thank you very much.
We are seriously under pressure here. We have to speed up. And I want to appeal to us, the panelists, to keep to time. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Femi Falana. Now we go to the political issue raised by Bishop Kuka. And I'm happy we have the Deputy Vice Chancellor in the House. Now, sir, Nigeria is a country where some of our compatriots think what they do not know does not exist. To them, they know everything under the sun. We've had all sorts of experimentations. And Bishop Coker spoke about the inspirations which the American had, and we don't have any. Can you say one or two things on that, my brother Prof, and especially on the issue he raised? And please keep to time, 3 minutes. Give him the mic.
Thank you very much. I want to first of all say a big thank you to Bishop Coker for the very compelling and powerful lecture. I'm a professor of international law, so I always like to ask, where does Nigeria stand in the League of Nations? The 2023 Global Rule of Law Index ranks Nigeria as 118 out of 140 countries in terms of rule of law, which is dangerously low. And one of the key factors is what is described as lack of constitutional legitimacy. Now, constitutional legitimacy is simply a question of how many Nigerians believe that the Constitution represents their will. The first line in every constitution says, "We the people." We the people. How many Nigerians believe that the 99 Constitution represents their wish? The answer is but a few. Constitutional legitimacy is about two things: the process through which the Constitution came to being in the first place, and the product itself. Process and product. The 99 Constitution was put together in 155 days by the Honorable Justice Nigitobi Committee. Of course, we understand that the exigencies of 1999, we all wanted to welcome democracy, may have led us to say, well, autochthony, homegrown constitution may not be our priority. But if the 99 Constitution were to be standing in front of us today as a human being, it is a human being that has gone through 50 stitches. It is not healthy. The 99 Constitution is a badly flawed document that does not represent the wish of the people. And I think if we really want to make progress as a country, we need to listen carefully to what Ààrẹ Babalola has been saying for years: the need to restructure, the need to revisit the badly flawed document called the 99 Constitution, the need to look at what other countries are doing. I'll end with an example of Kenya. Kenya had its election recently. Before the president was sworn in, the case was concluded. And everyone is praising them. How did they achieve this? That is thanks to the 2010 referendum, which led to an homegrown constitution. I think the Nigerian people deserve an homegrown constitution that represents their wishes. Thank you very much.
The DVC, thank you so much. Now, Bishop Coker spoke about the need for us to democratize development across the country. He drew our attention to the fact that where he came from, the area of his origin, has no single federal infrastructure. And we are talking about democratization. According to him, that goes so far to buttress the postulation of Confucius, the great Greek, who said every question has more than one answer. To Bishop Coker, democratization without development is no democracy. To Mr. Falana, Senator of Nigeria, until the leader leads by example, we cannot make headway. But he believes that everything must resort to court rule. If you ask me, there will be so many responses, so many answers to those issues. Not many people will buy the idea postulated by Bishop Kuka when he was speaking about women gender and their demands of 35.5%. You know, we had in this country a president, I'm not mentioning anybody's name, who was a workaholic. He lives by example. He was president. When he gives you assignment, he will supervise what you are doing. We've had another president who doesn't supervise. They call one a dictator, and they call one an idle president. I leave it at that. So, to the issue of women gender, which Bishop Kua alluded to, may I call on Mrs. Auma, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Of recent, the women have practically taken over the legal profession.
Thank you very much.
Of recent, your compatriots in skirts have taken over the legal profession. As a life bencher, I know as a fact that 65 to 67% of those who are calling to the bar are females.
Yes.
Now, speak to that against the background of the fact that practically all the Ministry of Justice in Nigeria today have been taken over by female lawyers. In this region, Southwest, 4 of our CJs are women. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Let me also congratulate Daddy on this auspicious occasion, and I pray for long life, and that those things you are still wishing to achieve, God will give you the grace to achieve them. Let me go into that. You have just brought out the judiciary alone, which appears to be doing well for women, and the statistics are there. In the Federal High Court, the Supreme Court, look at the percentage of women at the Supreme Court. Very low. Since the inception of the Supreme Court, only 8 women have risen to the Supreme Court, and only 1 had risen to be the Chief Justice of Nigeria. At the Court of Appeal, we've had 2 women in a row become the president of the Court of Appeal. At the state levels, well, very well. But if you look at the totality of the percentage, it is still very, very slow. It's very low. Because at the Federal High Court, you have only 26% of the judges as women. At the NICN, you have only about 25%. But summing it all, that is only the judiciary that has favored women. Maybe because women find the work of the judiciary easier. But come to core legal practice, how many women have risen to the top of the profession? Out of 73 senior advocates of Nigeria, only 33 are women. And many of these women are those in the academia, not in the core legal practice. But coming to the constitutional development of Nigeria, as the keynote speaker has said, women have not been treated fairly at all since the inception of democracy in Nigeria. And we have had cause to speak out, to cry, to present bills, to organize ourselves. But it has been from one poor state to a poorer state. Look at the present National Assembly. At the last National Assembly, there are about 10 at the Senate out of 109 senators. Now, as I speak, there are only 3 women at the Senate of Nigeria. At the House of Representatives, there are only 10 or 11 women out of 360 people there. So how have we fared when the Constitution of Nigeria guarantees equality in discrimination and gives equal treatment to men and women, and that we should not discriminate on account of sex? So what is the problem? The 5 bills that were presented to the National Assembly last year were all rejected. These were called gender bills. They were all rejected because we had the overpopulation of men at the National Assembly. One of the bills said, if I marry a Nigerian, if a foreigner marries a Nigerian man, the man automatically may apply to naturalize. But if a foreigner marries a Nigerian woman, it is not possible for that man to naturalize. And we've been asking, and there's a court judgment on the 35% affirmation. But in all our governments, nothing has been done.
Thank you so
But
much.
let me give an example of Kwara State and Kogi State. In Kwara State, as I speak, there's a law on the affirmative action that every appointment in government of Kwara State must be filled by at least 33% of gender, male or female, and he backed it up with a law. In Kogi State, although there is no law, but what is currently happening is that the vice chairman of every local government in the 21 local government areas of Kogi State are women. The SSG is women, is a woman, the head of service is a woman, and there is a systemic agenda to mainstream women into the governance. And so these people are growing. Can we replicate this in all governments of Nigeria and make women to grow?
Our time is far gone. Thank you. It's nice hearing that. It's nice hearing that, getting that information through you, that Kwara State has gone ahead other states. I hope the other states are taking note of that. Now, Chief Charles Idosewa, Syndicate of Nigeria. Bishop Kuka spoke of the need to have men of integrity by his own estimation, the likes of Mfalana SAN and the likes of Abakuba that should be on the Supreme Court. Against the backdrop of the fact, which you know very well, that over the years, attempts have been made to inject people from the bar to the apex court without trying to praise our Papa, former President Olusegun Obasanjo. I am aware, by virtue of my position, that he made that attempt, but he did not see the light of the day. What is your contribution on this? On that, Bishop Kuka said there is a need. He said, among other things, that judiciary is in crisis. And he now provides some solutions that people will have confidence, by his own estimation, that people will develop confidence in the judiciary once they start having men like Femi Falana or Agbakoba. You heard him say that. Now, again, the backdrop of the fact that NBA and, in fact, our former president made attempts to inject people from the bar, from outside the mainstream. What is your contribution to that?
Well, I have read that question a few times. I think we've gotten it wrong because we have allowed the principles of appointment, judicial appointment, to be taken away from the constitutional principle of appointment to promotions. That is what it is now. If you read the words of the Constitution talks about appointment. Appointment. Somebody who's 10 years old becomes a High Court judge upon appointment. Somebody who's 15 years old goes to the Supreme Court upon appointment. I think 12 years for the Court of Appeal. But somehow, in the works, an institution was created that now brought other criteria for appointment of judges. So a judge who now wants to go to the Court of Appeal is waiting to be promoted from the High Court to the Court of Appeal. A judge wants to go to the Supreme Court is waiting to be promoted from the Supreme Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court. That is not what the Constitution provided. Otherwise, why shouldn't a brilliant Attorney General go to the Supreme Court, just like Justice Namani did? Why wouldn't a brilliant professor go to the Supreme Court, like Brandeis did? Yeah, yes, like did. You know, so when they created those other criteria, in fact, the feeling is not that if you're a legal practitioner
you have no place in the Supreme Court. I remember a few years ago when I was part of the NBA screening committee to screen some legal practitioners for appointment to the Supreme Court. I think that was also, the way that was done was also wrong, in the sense that people were asked to apply to be appointed to the Supreme Court. I refused to apply. You don't apply to be appointed to the Supreme Court. So guess what happened? All sorts of applications came.
Get nominated.
Oh, hold on. A deputy chief registrar, who's not yet a high court judge, was applying to be appointed to the Supreme Court. And somebody who works in the bank, because he has 15 years at the bank, was applying to be appointed to the Supreme Court. You know, so all sorts of, it became an affair for all comers. But the truth is this. The truth is this. Let us keep fidelity with the ways of the Constitution that says the president appoints a justice of the Supreme Court upon a recommendation of the NJC. But the way it is now, we've turned it on its head. If the NJC doesn't recommend, you do not appoint. So where is the power of appointment when a recommendation can override it? Well, even though then it's nowhere. So we keep getting people with bad habits from the magistracy up to the Supreme Court. I'm not calling any names, I've not said anything. But my point is that if you have somebody who had already acquired bad habits in the magistracy, promoted to the High Court, compounded the bad habits, promoted to the Court of Appeal, then ultimately get to the Supreme Court. What magic are you looking for when the person gets to the Supreme Court? Is it going to be this epiphany in the Supreme Court to say, oh, I'm not a good judge because I've been promoted, I'm not in the Supreme Court? It doesn't work like that.
Thank you so much, Chief Fedeso, as soon as of Nigeria. The law remains as it is. The presidency has the power to appoint justices of the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court. The governorcy has the power to appoint judges of the state high court. But everything depends on political will. Thank you so much. And the last issue brought by Bishop Kuka, which is going to be addressed by our own President of the Court of Appeal, Ekiti State, Justice Toyin Bodunde, is the social issue, the needs for social justice. And he made reference to discrimination. Can you say one or two on that? Because our host of today, our celebrant, has written so much on that. For those of us who have been following Reverend writings on the pages of newspapers, he had over the years spoken about social justice. Can we hear from you?
Thank you very much, my silky brother and moderator. And I'm standing on all existing protocols because of time. I really did not know why I was brought up to the podium, but I want to say that I trust that it must have been the celebrant's decision, because on one or two occasions, as a father and a daughter, we have had one or two discussions about using law as social engineering or social justice, like you said. From example of Baba, we can say that he has used law not only as a legal practitioner, but he has used law in education, in medicine, in business, and the examples abound. For me personally, law must have a social face. And one of the areas that it can have a social face without being a judge in my own case is the area that my learned sister Sil talked about. I would say that Ekiti has done very well. There was a time in this state when I used to be the only female judge, when the likes of Honorable Justice Omoleye, Justice Fasomi were appointed as judges of the Court of Appeal. And then for 14 years,
there was a comma in appointments of women as judges. And then between last year and now, we now have 3 female judges, 2 in the High Court. I was appointed from the High Court to pioneer the newly created Customary Court of Appeal, and I have another female judge. So Ekiti is not doing badly. However, like I know my father, the celebrant, who wants me to be courageous today to talk about, there is an issue, an area where we can use law as social justice, and that is the area of the access to justice and the devices, if I want to say, that is still linked to some of our cultural and traditional practices. What do I mean? Like in the area of female genital mutilation, for instance, and widowhood practices. This is Ekiti. We have done very well with other aspects of gender-based violence. But the issue of female genital mutilation, the issue of our widowhood practices needs to be visited. And these are things that are not of common law nature. They are rooted in our practices. So it is an opportunity to appeal to our royal fathers. Kábíyèsí Sirs, Adé apẹ́ lórí yín sà o, bàtà apẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀. It is an area that they can come in to help stakeholders in the administration of justice to look at. Female genital mutilation is a no-no in Ekiti State.
Thank you, my Lord. As we are rounding up, I've been told that my brother said, Fefalano, has an information to give. Just information, 1 minute.
Mr. Chairman, because we are talking of discrimination against women, in Lagos now, men are complaining of reverse discrimination. Out of 69 judges in Lagos, High Court judges, only 24 are men, 45 are women. Wait. Out of 152 magistrates, 44 are men, 108 are women.
Because this is very important topic. And I want to thank Bishop Uka for the points he made on this subject, constitutionalism and democracy. Well, he said he wants to beg you to keep quiet. Can I beg you? You see, you don't have to beg them. I can beg them. Thank you very much for keeping quiet. Bishop Kuka made very cogent and valid points. Constitutionalism, he said there's no perfect constitution. Democracy, it is a journey, it's not a destination. But constitutionalism, no matter what constitution you have, and democracy, no matter the system that you employ in your democratic way of life, if you do not have good governance, which must be the outcome of your constitutionalism and your democracy, then you are not going anywhere. And he made the point too, that then to get good governance, it will depend on those who are operating your constitution and who are managing your democracy. And that is very important. the people who are operationalizing your constitution and your democracy. And the point in Nigeria, which I have seen, which I can attest to, is most of the people who are supposed to be operationalizing or managing and seeing the constitution and democracy move forward, they are actually the ones who undermine constitution and democracy. Let me give an example here. All elected people by our constitution, their emolument is supposed to be fixed by revenue mobilization and commission. But our lawmakers set that aside and they make law and put any emolument for themselves. Even if that is constitutional, it is not moral. And of course, it is neither constitutional nor moral. Now, when you have a situation like that, then what do you say of constitution, which is breached by those who are supposed to be guardians of constitution and democracy? That is one. The thing again that is, to me is very important is there are so many other aspects of our constitution that are actually absolutely ignored. Take federal character. We have Federal Character Commission. I don't know if Federal Character Commission has come out to find anybody guilty of not really keeping federal character. Have they all kept federal character? Of course, no. Of course, no. Now, the point is that if you leave the Constitution breached, then, of course, you know what happens next. Bishop Kuka talked a lot about the American Constitution. And the first point about American Constitution, he talked about every person being born equal. Not even every citizen. Every person who lives in America, whether you are a citizen or not, you are supposed to be enjoying the constitutional rights of America. But with us, the constitution is breached. We have no democracy that delivers. Your democracy must deliver the dividend of democracy. And if your democracy does not deliver the dividend of democracy, then it becomes anything goes. Anything goes for anybody. So I believe that constitutionalism, democracy must lead to good governance, and good governance must deliver for the welfare and the well-being of the people. That is what the Constitution, democracy, and all the other things are meant to achieve. But this I will also say, leadership at all levels requires certain things. Character, understanding, knowledge, sacrifice. And if these are not there, we are deceiving ourselves. No matter what constitution we have, no matter what sort of democracy we practice, all these must lead to one thing and one thing only: the welfare, the well-being, the prosperity, the security of the people. And if we cannot manage diversity, which we seem not to be able to manage, it doesn't matter what you talk about constitution, it doesn't matter what you talk about democracy. In fact, like one young man said to me, he said, "Now democracy will go chop. If he has nothing to eat, if he has no job, if he has no security, and you are telling him of democracy, the answer you will get is that now democracy man go chop." Democracy doesn't mean anything to any man who is hungry. Democracy doesn't mean anything to any man whose life is in danger. Democracy does not mean anything to any man whose property is being destroyed. Democracy, constitutionalism, democracy, good governance must lead to the welfare and well-being of all the people, particularly the common people.
This song is dedicated to our Papa, Are Afe Babalola. He is the blessing to the whole nation and to the world at large. So please sit back and enjoy.
May I, with respect, stand on the existing protocol. because of the lack of time, I will not want to go into the detail of this book review. We'll give the specific that are most important. One of the things that I recognize this today is that while the biological fathers, the biological children of our daddy was recognized, some of us that are the adopted sons and daughters were not recognized. Are is a father to all of us. It's a great privilege for me to review this book today, the book titled The Diamond at the Bar, which is a celebration of the life and times of our father and 60 years as a lawyer in this country. I am delighted to stand here today to review this book. And without wasting more time, I want to go into the nitty-gritty and the ingredients in this book. The Diamond at the Bar is a 416-page book with 53 chapters. In terms of appearance and aesthetics, I must say that it is a well-produced book. As an author and publisher myself, I must commend the editors and publisher for this feat. The book is easy to read and well printed. The font used in printing the book is friendly to the eye, and one does not need to strain the eyes to read it. The starting point in my review is unique features of this book, which I don't want to waste time on it, because the book is here, you are going to see it. So I don't want to go into the aesthetics of this book to tell you what it contains. My learned brother, Professor Michael Zikume, authored the foreword to this book. And if you read the foreword, it's encompassing, very detailed in terms of what the book contains and the importance of this book. It's also to be noted that His Excellency Governor Biodu Oyembaji gave a detailed and engaging piece, which is an eye-opener on what our father here stands for today. I found in the course of reading the governor's chapter a narrative of how Are indirectly contributed to the governor's academic success in the university, which is related to here today, and also what the governor told us today about the role of our father in the formation of this state, in the founding of this state, is also contained in this book. If you get it, you get the real details there. And also in chapter 3, we have the written by our leader in the bar, Shiwole Olanikwepu, who is a commander of the Federal Republic. He reviews so many facts about our father here today, the celebrant, which are contained in chapter 3 of the book. You read it, you get all the details. Because of time, I will not be able to give you all the details as contained in this write-up. The unique things you are going to discover in the piece contributed by His Excellency Babatunde Fashola is in chapter 4. It contains the celebration of Are himself and his contribution to arbitration in Nigeria. What he stands for in the arbitration in Nigeria is a contribution given by Babatunde Fashola, SAN, former Governor of Lagos State and former Minister of the Federal Republic. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if you want to discover an intimate portrait of Are as a father and in the house and in the office, you should look no further. Read what Prince Lateef Fagbemi wrote in page 47 to 50.
Thank you for joining us again on the News Hour on Biscon Television. I'm Stella Opara. In the high points of the news, federal government to mop up 10.2 million out-of-school children in 4 years. Fire guards Kwara High Court complex. In business news, banned sachet beverages contain 30% alcohol, says NAFDAC. On the foreign scene, British King Charles returns to London for expected cancer treatment. And in the world of sports, Roma keen to sign Nigeria's Maduka Okoye. Now the news in full. The federal government on Tuesday pledged its readiness to mop up the 10.2 million out-of-school children from the streets to classrooms by 2027. The Minister of State for Education, Dr. Yusuf Senuno, disclosed this when he paid an official visit to the newly inaugurated headquarters of the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children in Abuja. Senuno said in spite of conflicting data on the number of out-of-school children, the federal government would see to it that the number was reduced to the barest minimum. The minister added that in reducing the number, stakeholders must work through a multifaceted and multidimensional approach to make history. Senuno noted that the ministry would be introducing incentives for students who desired to pursue education programs in the College of Education and universities. He added that no Almajiri school will be shut down, but that a census will be taken to develop guidelines for reviewing the curriculum in Almajiri schools. Now, Kwara State's new High Court complex, located in the government reservation area in Ilorin, the state capital, was on Tuesday engulfed by fire. The main building and offices located in the complex were damaged by the fire. The fire, which was noticed at around 7:25 a.m., reportedly damaged the 40 offices and 3 open courtrooms, the registry department and the litigation office. The fire, according to the State Fire Service, was said to have been triggered by a surge in electricity supply to the area. A statement by the head of media and publicity of the Kwara State Fire Service, Hassan Adekunle, confirmed the fire incident. Adekunle said firemen were alerted to the blaze through a distress call which the firefighters responded to. In another development, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission on Tuesday said plans are underway to end gas flaring in 2030. The NUPRC Chief Executive Officer, Gbenga Komolafe, disclosed this while delivering his speech at the 8th Sub-Saharan Africa International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference holding in Lagos. According to Komolafe, the NUPRC is effectively spearheading the national drive to achieve the zero-flare target by 2030 and net zero carbon emissions by 2060. This, he said, will be achieved through several initiatives, including the Nigeria Gas Flare Commercialization Program. The NUPRC boss explained that Nigeria is on track to meet its environmental stewardship obligations. He stated that analysis of the European Union's emissions database for Global Atmospheric Research Database shows that Nigeria occupies a distant 165th position in the global ranking of top emitters, with a greenhouse gas emissions per capita at 1.88 tons carbon dioxide equivalent per capita per year, representing just 0.13% of the global total. Now, over 42,000 practicing nurses in Nigeria migrated abroad in search of greener pastures in the last 3 years, Mr. Farouk Abubakar, Registrar of Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, NMCN, said on Tuesday. NMCN is an umbrella body of Nigerian nurses and midwives. It is the only legal, administrative, corporate, and statutory body charged with the performance of specific functions on behalf of the federal government of Nigeria to ensure the delivery of safe and effective nursing and midwifery care to the public through quality education and best practices. Abubakar, who spoke during an appearance on a television program, also claimed that 15,000 nurses moved out of the country in 2023. While regretting that the number of Nigerian practicing nurses migrating to other countries was fast increasing, he assured that the federal government was taking measures to stop the development. According to him, the Federal Ministry of Health, in particular, had initiated measures aimed at ameliorating the plight of Nigerian nurses, some of which he said were raising their salaries and allowances. Recall that the nurses who have vehemently opposed the Council's new guidelines claiming it was one of the ways the federal government is trying to deny them the right to seek greener pastures outside the shores of the country, embarked on protests across the country on Monday. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll bring you business news. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Biscon TV News. Now to business news. National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has said that the alcoholic content in sachets or small bottles of less than 200 ml is 30%. NAFDAC, however, said the percentage is too high, noting that beer contains only 4 to 8% alcohol. The agency disclosed this in a press statement made available to newsmen by the head of Public Relations Office, NAFDAC, Christiana Obiazekwo. The statement was tagged "What Nigerians Should Know About Alcohol in Sachet and Less than 200 ml PET Bottles." NAFDAC commenced the enforcement of the ban on alcoholic beverages in sachets, PET and glass bottles of 200 ml and below on February 1, 2024. The Director General of the agency, Professor Mojisola Deyeye, during a press briefing in Abuja, noted that as of January 31, 2024, no such beverages were registered with the agency. You're still watching Biscon TV News. Still to come is foreign news. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Now to foreign news. British King Charles returns to London for what is widely expected to be further treatment following his cancer diagnosis. Charles and Queen Camilla flew by helicopter to Buckingham Palace from the private Sandringham home on Tuesday and were driven the short distance to nearby Clarence House. It was announced last week that the head of state has a form of cancer, and at the weekend he issued a statement praising all those organizations which support cancer patients. King Charles had postponed all public-facing duties, but is continuing with behind-the-scenes work on his red boxes of state papers. The Queen has been carrying out her royal diary of engagements and last week said her husband was doing extremely well under the circumstances. She said the King, who underwent his first bout of cancer treatment last week, had been very touched by all the messages of support he had received from the public. The King and Queen arrived as downpours swept across London, and King Charles was photographed waving to well-wishers. The King's diagnosis followed 3 nights in a private London hospital, where he was treated for an enlarged prostate. The Prince of Wales may step in to represent his father at events, and it has been reported William and his family are spending half-term at their Norfolk home, Anma Hall, which is on the King's Sandringham estate. You're watching Biscon TV News. Still to come is sports news. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching Biscon TV News. Now to the world of sports. Roma is reportedly eager to sign Super Eagles goalkeeper Maduka Okoye from fellow Italian Serie A club Udinese when the summer transfer window opens for business. Okoye joined Udinese on a permanent deal from Watford last summer, and despite taking him some months to get playing time, the Nigerian is now a regular starter in Italy. The 24-year-old has also done quite well in the colours of Udinese so far this season, after keeping 3 clean sheets in 8 matches across all competitions for the club. His encouraging performances for the Little Zebras have now led to interest from Roma, who wants him to replace the outgoing Rui Patricio, according to a report from RomaPress.net. Okoye, meanwhile, had another magnificent performance in goal for Udinese, which travelled away to the Allianz Stadium and defeated Juventus 1-0 in a Serie A game on Monday. The former number 1 goalkeeper for the Super Eagles was in an inspired form as he made 6 saves and had 2 other clearances to help Udinese beat Juve away for the first time since 2015. We'll take another break. When we come back, we'll bring you entertainment news. Join us again. Welcome back. You're watching Biscon TV News. Now to entertainment news. Asisat Oshala, a prominent female footballer, has criticized popular blogger Tunde Ednut and social media critic Very Dark Man for their attack on Alex Iwobi following the Super Eagles' AFCON loss. Newsmen reported that some Nigerians took to Iwobi's social media pages to criticize his performance in a destructive manner, attributing the Super Eagles' failure in the 2023 AFCON to him. Both Very Dark Man and Tunde Ednut expressed their disappointment with Iwobi's performance during the match. Following their actions, Oshala called out the two on her Instagram story for bullying her football colleague Iwobi. The female striker condemned their behavior, stating that she had experienced similar treatment in the past and understood the negative impact it could have. And that's it for now on Biscon Television News, compiled and produced by Adebisi Elegunde. Now the last line. Zig Ziglar said, "You were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win." Thank you for staying with us. I'm Stella Opara.
We thank you for a day like this. Why do we need to thank you? We thank you because you made the day available for us to also be able to glorify your name. This program, God, it shall give more praises to you and it shall give more blessings to each of us who are present there today. One more time, God, lead us in all we do so that at the end of the day we can say, indeed, we have a Father, not just in heaven, but also residing with us now. Jesus and that I pray in Jesus' name. Thank you. Shola, are you set?
adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run fún ọmọ wa Lukman Fọlámi tí wọ́n ń ṣe ọjọ́ ìbí 60 ọdún lẹ́yìn. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí ó fún ọ ní àǹfààní láti ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ní ẹ̀mí gígùn àtàlàfíà ara àtìyàwó àtọmọ àti ẹbí. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí wọ́n rojú kí wọ́n ráyè. Ó ti lè ṣe léyìí pé ó yẹ kó ti ṣe tipẹ́ àbí kò jẹ́ káwọn gbọ́. Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí ẹni tí o mọ̀gbà tí a kúrò nílé o ní mọ̀gbà tá a máa padà. Wọ́n ṣàwọlé Al-Qur'an Karim ọlá wípé wọ́n ṣe àdúrà ní ti kìrìsìtẹ́nì ní kúkúrú náà ní a sọ pé Bismillahirrahmanirrahim 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 inú hanzan inú fi lọ́lọ́ tẹ̀lé kọ́dírì láyé látẹ̀lé kọ́dírì hain ní máa lè fi ṣọ́hàd tàlọ́sà lúlì máa kátó wà lóbo fi bí sin rábì ní kúlì hámọ̀rì salamu iya atamola fatir. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim ila fi Quraysh ila fi himri ila tasitai wa sebi fa'budu rabba azali biti lasi atamu mijuyi wa manu miliyafu. Ya Bismillahirrahmanirrahim alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin arrahmanirrahim maliki yawmiddin iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in ihdina siratal mustaqim ihdina siratal mustaqim اهدنا صراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Gbogbo ẹ̀dá tó bá ràrò jùlọ ló lè mọ pẹ́jà èmi ọ̀gbẹ́ ọ̀gá Olúwa. German Island Club, ẹni tó bá ràrò jùlọ ló lè mọ pẹ́jà èmi. Bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run òbírí kan lọ́lọ́run òbírí. Bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run òbírí ooo. Bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run. Olúwa kò gbàgbé ẹnìkan kan wá. Bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run.
The Island Club has a culture. Once the chairman attends a program and is present, it is the culture of the Island Club to also say we want to welcome the landlord of the Island Club with the chairman.
Gbogbo ẹ̀dá tó bá ràrò jinlẹ̀ o ló lè mọ pátá èmi yóò gbé ọ̀gá Olúwa. Bí ènìyàn kan lọ́lọ́run àwárí. Olúwa kò gbàgbé ẹnìkan ọ̀kan wa. Mo dúpẹ́ oníbù ọ̀rẹ́ bàbá kan pẹ́ mi. Ìyìn òtítọ́ lẹ́nu wa, ó dá mi lójú. Ìyìn òtítọ́ lẹ́nu wa. Sẹ́lẹ̀rù ni ọba òkè, àtúbọ̀tayé, ìmọ̀káyé ọjọ́ wa. Ó lè máa kọ̀ọ̀kan wá sí gbọ̀ngbọ̀n. Àwọn afọ́pẹ́ fọ́lùwà tó ránṣẹ́ àánú rẹ̀ dúró láíláí. Òòrùn yọ níjọba ọ̀sán, iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ Olúwa ni. Iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ Ẹlẹ́dùmarè níjọba òru, iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ Ẹlẹ́dùmarè ni. Ìyìn òtítọ́ lẹ́nu wa, ó dá mi lójú. Ìyìn òtítọ́ lẹ́nu wa, nítorí pé oore Olúwa lórí wa kò fi ìgbà kan dúró. Àánú Olúwa lórí wa kò fi ìgbà kan yẹ̀. Oore Olúwa lórí wa kò fi ìgbà kan dúró. Àánú Olúwa lórí wa kò fi ìgbà kan yẹ̀. Àwọn forin Ẹlẹ́dùmarè tó dá wa sí. Àfọ̀yàyà Ẹlẹ́dùmarè ọba ògo. Ìyìn òtítọ́ lẹ́nu wa. Torí pé nà sọ ibi yẹ ìgbà ìjọba. Ìbá kálẹ̀rù ni ọba ògo. Àti ẹ̀káyé arúgbó ọjọ́. So you be with my God, and yesterday He was with me. Today I'm under His care. I should not worry for tomorrow. He's always there. there for me. Yesterday, he was with me. Today, I'm under his care. As you know, worry for tomorrow. It's always there for me. Yesterday, he was with me. Today, I'm under his care. As you know, worry for tomorrow. It's always there for me. Gbogbo ohun tí a bá ṣe kò lè ní bàjẹ́ àpáta tí a dúró. Àpáta tí a dúró lé dìgídìgí. Àpáta tí a dúró lé. Àpáta tí a dúró lé dìgídìgí. Àpáta. Gbogbo tí a bá ṣe kò lè ní bàjẹ́ àpáta tí a dúró. Ó dáná àná wa sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ ṣeun. Àná wa sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ ṣeun wọn. Òní wa sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ ṣeun. Túnjí kan lámì ọ̀la rẹ̀ á sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ ṣeun wọn. Ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀ ẹ ṣeun. Ọlọ́jọ́ ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀ ẹ ṣeun wọn. Ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀ ẹ ṣeun wọn. Ẹ ṣeun ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀ ẹ ṣeun wọn. Ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀ ẹ ṣeun wọn. Dá ẹsẹ̀ tìletìle torí náà ló ṣe ń dúpẹ́ o. Túnjí Fọlámi, àwọn ẹgbẹ́ pàtàkì, àná rẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ ṣeun o. Òní rẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ ṣeun o. Ọ̀la rẹ̀ á sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ ṣeun o. Ìjìnlẹ̀ nínú ìjìnlẹ̀, 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 ẹ ṣeun o. Orí Túnjí Fọlámi, ọba tó ń ṣọrẹ fún mi láì wọgà o. Mo wá yàn o. Bàbá, ìwọ ló ń ṣọrẹ fẹ́ni tí ò mọyì o. Gbogbo ṣùgbọ́n fún ọ, bàbá mi o. Ọba tó ń ṣọrẹ fún mi láì wọgà o. Mo wá yàn o. Bàbá, ìwọ ló ń ṣọrẹ fẹ́ni tí ò mọyì o. Gbogbo ṣùgbọ́n fún ọ, bàbá. ìwọ̀gà mo wá yàn ó bàbá òun ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ní tí ọmọ yìí ó mo gbọ́ ṣùgbọ́n fún ọ bàbá mi ó ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀fún ní láì wọ̀gà ó mo wá yàn ó bàbá ìwọ ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ní tí ọmọ yìí ó mo gbọ́ ṣùgbọ́n fún ọ lórí ọlọ́jọ́ ìgbọ́nà àánú máa lọ sọ̀rọ̀ bàbá agbára wa mọ̀ ọ́ ìwọ ni bàbá ọ́ àánú máa lọ sọ̀rọ̀ agbára wa mọ̀ ọ́ ìwọ ni. Happy birthday to you, àánú máa lọ fọwọ́. Bàbá o, agbára wa mà kọ́ o, ìwọ ni bàbá o. Bó bá jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀, kí ni ìbá ṣe bí kò sọ pé àràbàdà lè ṣe lórí wa? Kí ni ìbá ṣe bí kò sọ pé àràbàdà lè ṣe lórí wa? Bí kò sọ pé àràbàdà lè ṣe lórí wa. Kí ni ìbá ṣe bí kò sọ pé àràbàdà lè ṣe lórí wa? Ó dá ẹ láre, ó ṣẹ́gun fún ẹ ọpẹ́, ó pèsè fún ẹ ọpẹ́, ó dín kan lárí ọpẹ́. Kí ni ìbá ṣe bí kò sọ pé àràbàdà lè ṣe lórí wa? Kí ni ìbá ṣe bí kò sọ pé àràbàdà lè ṣe lórí wa? Ó yá mélòó ni wọ́n kà nínú ọ̀rẹ́ tí bàbá ṣe? Àgàgà tá lórí Olúwa. Abọ́dé ni máa ń gbàjẹ́. Ó tóbi títí kò láǹkàwé, akọni ẹlẹ́rù. Alágbára ni tó gbàgbára lọ́wọ́ alágbára. Nígbà tálágbára fẹ́ gbàgbára lọ́wọ́ onígbà. Àwa ìbálẹ́gbẹ̀rin wa kò tó láti yin Olúwa. Ó gbogbo oore tó ṣe lórí ayé àwa o, ẹ lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ lórí àgbẹ̀ ọ̀gá. Èèyàn ní wọn ga nínú oore tí bàbá ṣe. Èèyàn ní wọn ròyìn nínú oore tí bàbá ṣe. Oore rẹ̀ máa bọ̀ ó ju mi orin òkun lọ. Èló ni wọn ga ìjà sábà dúpẹ́. Oore rẹ̀ máa bọ̀ ó ju mi orin òkun lọ. Èló ni wọn ga ọpẹ́ ló yọ. Èló ni wọn rọ nínú oore tí bàbá ṣe. Èló ni wọn rọ nínú oore tí bàbá ṣe. Oore rẹ̀ máa bọ̀ ó ju mi orin òkun lọ. Èló ni wọn ga ìjà sábà dúpẹ́. Èló ni wọn ga Èló ni wọn ga Aládé, congratulations on your birthday today. Ẹ bá mi kọ́ wọ́n jọ ìgbógun oríire. Oríire ni láti máa káyé ọjọ́ àwa. Ẹ bá mi kí Túnjí Fọlámi, happy birthday to you. Ẹ̀mí aṣọ púpọ̀ ọdún láyé lọ́lá ilé Kùmárì ọba aláṣẹ. Ọkàn Láìdé, ẹ bá mi kí bàbá Máyàwá, bàbá mo yọ̀ sọ́rẹ́, bàbá mo ṣọpẹ́ tó jẹ́ káfáyà. Sàmọ́dá gbẹdọ̀gbẹdọ̀ ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ayé jíjẹ ni. Congratulations on your birthday today. Congratulations on your birthday today. Celebrant, we wish you happy birthday. Mọ́lámi, ọjọ́ ìbí ṣe pàtàkì, ó ṣe kókó. Ọlọ́jọ́ ìbí ṣe pàtàkì, ó ṣe kókó. Ẹni ọdún kankan láyé, ó yẹ kó ṣọpẹ́. Mo lẹ́ni ọdún kankan láyé, ó yẹ kó ṣọpẹ́. Tuntun kò lábí àbá ẹ̀yọ̀, ó kú oríire. Congratulations on your birthday today. Congratulations on your birthday today. Celebrant, we wish you happy birthday. Ọlọ́jọ́ ìbí mo kí ẹ dáadáa, bàbá Báyọ̀ wá. Gbogbo àwọn artist wọ́n bá ẹ dúpẹ́. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi kí chief mrs bọ́sẹ̀ bá fowó rà. Alájà bísí arógundádé wọ́n bá ẹ dúpẹ́. Mojí Akínwọlé bá ẹ dúpẹ́. Ẹjú bá ẹ dúpẹ́. Ajírọ̀ tútù ní àtàtà. Gbogbo uncles gbogbo wọn pátápátá. Wọ́n bá ẹ gbégbá ọpẹ́ nígbà tí wọ́n wà yìí sẹ́yìn. Ọ̀túnba láyé orí owó ó recognize nonsense sọ gidi gan. Ọlọ́láyé lọ ní tèmi sọ. His Excellency Architect Yomi Awoniyi ọmọ Kogi State Deputy Governor ó recognize nonsense sọ gidi gan. Gbogbo yín pátápátá là kí o. Gbogbo island lọ pátápátá látòkè délẹ̀. Àràbà ní bàbá rẹ̀ ní abálábà ní bàbá. Chairman island lọ. Aṣíwájú bàbá ọba. Prince Rabiu Adio Olúwa. Àràbà ní bàbá rẹ̀ ní abálábà ní bàbá. Ẹ bá mi kí bá ìṣẹ̀mà island lọ. Táwa lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Honourable Ọ̀túnba Táyọ̀dé Ògúndípẹ̀mí àtàtà Ṣàmàdá gbẹ̀jọ. Ẹnjìnìà Bámgbóṣe Martins mo kí ẹ dáadáa ọ̀lọ́láyé lónìí tẹ̀lé olóríire. Honourable Mrs. Túndé Adéjàre Ṣàmàdá gbẹ̀jọ. Gbogbo Diamond Group, gbogbo yín pátálàdé, gbogbo Immaculate Love 17. Ẹ̀yàn lọ́láyé lónìí tèmi lọ́jọ́ gbogbo, ohun rere la máa rí bára wa ṣe. Iyì tó dín dẹrẹ́ ní àfihàn kọ́lé fún nínú ilé. Gbogbo yín pátálàdé, ohun rere la máa rí bára wa ṣe. Ẹ̀sán máa dágbẹ́ jàǹgbẹ̀jọ, ṣọlá ló ń kiri. Iyì tó jí bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ọ̀gá fi ń kọ́lé fún nínú ilé. Èyí tẹ̀yẹ òkín ní lóde ìgbàyè láwùjọ ẹyẹ. Àbá ń lọ́wọ́ lọ, àwọn pàdé iyì lọ́nà. Àbá ń lọ́wọ́ lọ, bàbá pàdé yìí lọ́nà. Ó yẹ ká padà sílé nítorí wípé bàbá lọ́wọ́ àwùjọ ìyá ó ti ra o. ọjọ́ ọgbà ìlàwùjọ. Ẹ̀ka mi ké Trustee Island Club, Trustee Island Club, Soko, Prince Adémọ́lá dada. Bó bá wo wájú rẹ̀ ẹ bá wẹ̀yìn rẹ̀ ní lọ́jọ́ gbogbo. Ṣàṣàrẹ́ gbogbo ilé ṣá. Túndé àlùkò àràbà ní bàbá ènìyàn bá lábà ní bàbá. Bó bá wo wájú rẹ̀ bó bá wẹ̀yìn rẹ̀ ní lọ́jọ́ gbogbo. Past Vice Chairman Island Club. Ẹni ọlọ́lá yẹn ló ní tèmi lọ́jọ́ gbogbo. Ẹ̀ka mi kí Past Chairman Island Club. Mo tún fa kẹ́yìn dé síta. Wóyè kù ti gbogbo iṣẹ́ wọ̀. Ẹni ọlọ́lá yẹn ló ní tèmi lọ́jọ́ gbogbo. Prince Adela náà dé síta mo kẹ́dìrẹ́. Àkúrẹ́ olóye mẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Ọmọọba tó jọba bòmíì lọ ní. Aṣíwájú Yínká Ṣógúnlẹ̀. Ọmọ olówó tí ń tọ́lá sùn. Ó tòṣì àtọ̀ tiẹ̀ lórí ṣàpàdà gbẹjọ. Past Chairman Island Club. Ẹni ọlọ́lá yẹn ló ní tèmi lọ́jọ́ gbogbo. Past Vice Chairman Island Club. Chifeso jẹ́kẹ́jẹ́. Ẹlẹ́ni àti ìka ẹlẹ́ni ẹ̀wẹ̀lẹ́. I love you all. Ṣoṣà gbóhùn lẹ́nu mi ṣọlá ló ń bí ẹ. Gbogbo yín pátápátá la gbé. Ènìyàn lọ́la yẹn lọ ní tèmi. I love you all. Àyà Vice Chairman. Àyà Honorable. Mo kí ẹ fún tuntun ẹ kí. Ó yẹ ẹ̀ka lẹ́nàdúrà mi bàbá olórí rẹ̀. Gbogbo yín pátápátá la kí o. Ohun rere la máa rí bára wa ṣe. Alájìyàwó ẹ̀pẹ́ alárọ̀ ògùn pọ́n dẹ́dẹ́. Ẹ̀pẹ́ ló ní Kúránì. Alájìyàrógún dádé. Dr. Ládìméjì Àlọ́, President Diamond Group Island Club. Alájìrí Wọ́n Arúnà, President Center Table. Ṣàmàdá gbẹjọ. Ọ̀túnba Fẹ́mi Díndọ̀, bàbá ọba. Ṣé fún ìwà àdúrójà sínú Advocate of Nigeria. Mo dé o bàbá mú wá ṣọpẹ́ fún rẹ̀ ńlá. Bàbá ti gbá wá ọmọ rẹ̀ ó tún wá nínú. Ọmọ lolúfẹ́ túnbí. Bàbá Tolúṣọlá, ṣàmọ̀dá gbẹjọ lórí rẹ̀. Ìgúnfọ̀ lọ́rùn ṣẹ́pẹ́ o, èyí tọ́pẹ́. Bàbá wa létí ọ̀dọ̀ rẹ̀ tó ràn ẹ́ lọ́wọ́. Ààrẹ Túndé Lìgbò. Ìgúnfọ̀ lọ́rùn ṣẹ́pẹ́ o, èyí tọ́pẹ́. Bàbá wa létí ọ̀dọ̀ rẹ̀ tó ràn ẹ́ lọ́wọ́. Kí ni mo bí fún Olúwa? Fún ọrẹ rẹ̀, ọ̀pá ìbẹ̀lẹ̀ ti dé. Honorable Amure, mo ti gbọ́ májẹ̀mú òwe. Mo ń sọ májẹ̀mú ní òwà. Bàbá olóore ọ̀fẹ́ ló ṣe lérí tó mú ṣẹ́ òwà. Bóyá ká ṣá máa dúpẹ́, ká máa dúpẹ́ ló yẹ. Ọ̀rọ̀ wa ò fẹjọ́ wẹ́wẹ́ ká ṣá máa dúpẹ́ lọ́tọ̀. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi kí aṣíwájú Razak Shitu. Àràbà ní bàbá ẹni àbálàbà ní bàbá. Bàbá dúpẹ́ tọ̀sán kò ló lọ́jọ́ gbogbo. Ọ̀rọ̀ wa ò fẹjọ́ òkè tó ń jẹ́. Àṣewáyé níṣẹ́ olúwa. Ọmọ lolú máa tún bí aṣẹ́wọ̀n dúpẹ́. Ọba tí òkè tó ń jẹ́. Wáyé níṣẹ́ olúwa o. Omi láyọ̀ ọmọdé àmọ́ bí ẹ. Ẹ̀mí màmá olórí rẹ̀. Ènìyàn lọ́láyé ló ní tèmi o. Wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́ níṣẹ́ olúwa o. Ọba tí òkè tó ń jẹ́. Àṣewẹ́rẹ́ níṣẹ́ olúwa. Ọba tí òkè tó ń jẹ́. Wẹ́rẹ́wẹ́rẹ́ o. Àṣewẹ́rẹ́ níṣẹ́ olúwa. Ọba tí òkè tó ń jẹ́. Àṣewẹ́rẹ́ níṣẹ́ olúwa. Ọba tí òkè tó ń jẹ́. Torí wípé aṣọ ìyá ayé wa, gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ ti dáná sí wọn, gbogbo àwọn tó ń yọ wá lẹ́nu, gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ ti gbé wọn dé, gbogbo àwọn tó ń kí ẹ lára, gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ ti ṣe wọ́n mọ́ṣẹ́, gbogbo ìgbà ayé, gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ ti gbé wọn dé. Àṣewẹ́rẹ́ níṣẹ́ olúwa. Ọba tí òkè tó ń jẹ́. Àṣewẹ́rẹ́ níṣẹ́ olúwa. Ọba tí òkè tó ń jẹ́. Àwa ò mọ̀ o. Àwa ò mọ̀. Ẹ bá mi kí first chairman Island Club. Jíbọ́ládàpọ̀ ọlábàdé káwọn lẹ̀ máa rà bá wọn lẹ́gẹ̀sì. Ẹ̀kú ìtọ́jú wa ní sátidé tó kọjá mọ́ bí ẹ. Ìwọ ọmọ dé. Ìwọ ọmọ. Àwa ọmọ o. Àwa ọmọ. Ọgọ́gọ́. Ọgọ́gọ́. Ibi bàbá tí mo fẹ́ wà wá. Ọlọ́jọ́ ìbí Túnjí Bọ́lá ní sọ́jà gbé wọn lẹ́nu mi. Ọmọ lè kó ilé. Ọlọ́láyé ni wọ́n máa pè é. Bọ́lá ní gbogbo ń bá lọ́rùn ṣe fún ẹ kò ní ìbàjẹ́ mọ́. Gbogbo ń bá lọ́rùn ṣe fún ẹ kò ní ìbàjẹ́. Gbogbo ń bá lọ́rùn ṣe fún ẹ kò ní ìbàjẹ́. Gbogbo ń bá lọ́rùn ṣe fún ẹ kò ní ìbàjẹ́. Gbogbo ń tó ń rí sínú ẹ̀ ń dùn. Ọlámi, gbogbo ń tó ń rí sẹ́ sínú ẹ̀ ń dùn. Gbogbo ń bọ́ lọ́rùn ṣe fún ẹ kò ní ìbàjẹ́. Nílé ọlọ́jọ́ ìwé ni mo ṣe wà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ tó ń jẹ́ Bọ́lá ní. Ọlọ́lá 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 yẹn ló ní tèmi. Mo bá wo wájú rẹ̀, bàbá lókè ló sọ ẹ̀gbọ́n lórí rẹ̀. Lóní, àdúrà rẹ̀ gbà ó, Jésù mo mọ̀ yíyá o. Àdúrà rẹ̀ gbà ó, àdúrà rẹ̀ gbà ó, àdúrà rẹ̀ gbà ó, Jésù mo mọ̀ yíyá o. Lóní Bọ́lá ní, àní àdúrà rẹ̀ gbà ó, Jésù ló mọ̀ yíyá o. Àdúrà rẹ̀ gbà ó, àdúrà rẹ̀ gbà ó, Bọ́lá ní, àdúrà rẹ̀ gbà ó, Jésù ló mọ̀ yíyá o. rẹ̀ fẹ́ máa ṣe. Àtúbà jíde lójú kan lè ríran ríwa, wọ́n lè ríran ríwa. Ṣáyọ̀ á. Ẹṣin wọn létí kan lè gbọ́ wá sọ, wọ́n lè gbọ́ òun náà wá sọ. Ọ̀túnba kẹ́kẹ́ ọba sá, bàṣọ ní sọ. Abẹ́sọ́dọ̀ ní àtàlà tó ń jẹ́ga ní ńláwẹ́. Ẹ bá mi kí jìkà sí ṣòkó, ọmọ wọn ló tó mú bí ọ. Ẹ̀jìnà Káyọ̀dé àti Akíntàjọ tún léṣí olórí rẹ̀. Alájí Káyọ̀dé. Òní ànímọ́sán ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ pàtàkì ṣàmà dẹ́gbẹ̀dẹ́gbẹ̀dọ́. Prince bàbá Túndé bàbá Yálé ọmọ ọba ni. Bàbá Bọ́lá Àlíbá lọ́gùn. Bọ́lá Àlíbá lọ́gùn. À ń lé wàlá yìí ọlọ́rin àwájú. Prince Táyọ̀ Adébọ̀wáyé mo kí ọ. Ọmọ ọba ní ìrẹsà. Ṣàmà dẹ́gbẹ̀dẹ́gbẹ̀dọ́. Ọlọ́láyé lọ ní tèmi, gbogbo yín pátá làkí, ẹ sábàdá gbẹ́jọ́ gbẹ́jọ́. Prince Bisi ọlá ti lọ báwo làbárà bá o. Honorable Rotimi Abiru, aláṣẹ Western restaurant tó kárí ayé. Honorable mi àtàtà Rotimi Abiru, ọlọ́lá. Ọ̀rọ̀ kìíní lọ ní tèmi. Ẹ kí ọ̀gbágbá ọgbọ́tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o, àti ẹ̀ ọ̀gbágbá ọgbọ́tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Òtúnba Bọ́ládé Martins kò kẹ́kẹ́. Ẹlẹ́ wọn lójú kan lè ríran ríra. Wọ́n lè ríran ríra o. Ẹṣin wọn létí kan lè gbọ́ wọn dáadáa. Wọ́n lè gbọ́ wọn dáadáa sọ. Ìlọ́ṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ò ní sọ́pẹ́. Bàbá Andy. Ìlọ́ṣẹ́ tí wọ́n ò ní sọ́pẹ́. Ó kàn lẹ́kùn ayọ̀, bàbá sì fún ẹ. Ó ti kàn lẹ́kùn ayọ̀, bàbá sì fún ẹ. Ilẹ̀kùn èṣù, ó ti jọ̀ǹjọ̀ǹ.
Who came in even after Trustee Demola that came in was the legacy of the Island Club. Can we have our hands to present for him as well? Thank you. And I just wish to just recognize some leaders of groups who are also here today. Banji Oladapo. The legacy is also a popular boss who are younger really, when you call legacy. You know, it's a young group of the Island Club and handed over to the Auditor Alok, who also retired as the past head of the Diamond Group. I have the head of the center table, who also came much earlier, and for me, it's also to recognize Alaji Haruna, who is in white and what we call, like I said, two very early to events. My first social club in this country, I am president of S Club. What have you? He's at the other side and very close.
Because his wife and the children are here, so that I won't expose him. During our school days, when we were in adult college, Tunji used to be very, very active. But when I walked and I saw the caliber of people here, I know that Tunji's loyalty is reflecting. And he's a good man. Tunji is a good man. Very, very focused. He's very good. And he's committed. He's a committed friend. So I won't call him my friend. He's my brother. So Tunji, I'm not going to say much. I don't like to say that I wish you many more happy years of today. And I pray that the good Lord will grant you good health, which is very important. Peace, joy, and happiness. And I will end with this prayer. That great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning you continue to see the mercy. All that you will need to succeed in life and make your life prosper, the good Lord will grant you. Congratulations, congratulations, and congratulations.
We need to give a round.
Àwẹ̀ ọkàn mi kú, ìyẹn pé ọba mi lójijì. So àwẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Ìjẹ̀ṣà àwẹ̀ ọkàn mi kú. So, having been called, I consider it a privilege and a great delight to be asked to say something about Tunji Folami. I can't claim that I've known Tunji for too long. I've only met him as a very worthy member of the Island Club. When I say you are a worthy member of the Island Club, it goes quite a long way. You must be a very decent individual, somebody that can be described as a gentleman to the core. I met him after he had served as the social secretary of this club. And in my interaction with the club, particularly whenever I needed some information, Tunji had always been very handy to me. So with the way he's always responded to my phone calls, the way he's been answering my call, I just found that I've discovered a very good friend in the Island Club. So I was in Mexico when I saw his text message intimating me about this birthday event. And I replied his WhatsApp text. I said, I'm so happy by the day you'll be celebrating, I will have been back. And I made a request to him that he should please remind me anytime from the end of January, by which time I thought I would have been back. So when his text message came, reminding me as I requested, I said this is a place that I have to be. So, Tunji, you are a very, very, very eminent individual. Very handsome, very unassuming, very, very decent indeed. You are very responsible, and you are a very dependable friend. On this your special day, I feel honored to pray that the good Lord will continue to bless you. The good Lord will strengthen you. The good Lord will renew your health to newness. And the good Lord will grant you many, many, many happy years of celebration in good health, happiness, and joy. Happy birthday. God be with you.
Thank you. The trustee of the Island Club deserves a round of applause one more time. Like I said earlier, the Island Club is like the chief host today. However, Immaculate Club 17 can also be seen as a group here. They are the co-host for this birthday of this gentleman. For me, I think it's just fair enough to call on the head of that team of the Immaculate Club 17 to speak a little thing about this wonderful young man. I call on Professor Akim Raufu to please step forward and speak a little word for this wonderful young man who has put all of us here today. A round of applause for this man. From your end, please encourage you.
Professors are also human and they have blood running in their veins. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. Baba, Baba. Lukumani, Luku Vantage. Lukman is a very wonderful person. I knew him before I got to Immaculate, and we've been together for quite some time. I dare say that Lukman is a very selfless human being, and he does everything to actually please the other person so that he can actually have peace and the other person can also have peace. He's a man of peace. He can be cantankerous though, but I dare tell you that this man is a man of peace. I've had cause to benefit from his selflessness. Long ago, I was sacked from a job, and he was one of those 3 persons who gave me life. Lukman, Tunji, Folami, Baba Kafaya, Baba Sisa. Give me the third one, Baba Rukoya. We'll tell you that, of course, he may not pray 5 times daily or even 1 time daily, but he will die a Muslim. A lot of people don't even know that he's a Muslim, but I keep on harassing him. What exactly are you doing? And he will say, I will die a Muslim. Leave me alone. I hope you still retain that very much. God will bless you. Yes, as an immaculate, Tunji is highly immaculate because he eats immaculate, he drinks immaculate, and of course, he speaks immaculate. He's a great man, a wonderful man. And the message that I sent to him on his birthday, on the 1st, you recall, I said, you have become a senior citizen now. And I pray to God to grant you the kernel and the heart of that thing that they call Agbalagba. Because at 60, Agbalagba ti dé náà ni, 70 larúgbó ṣe ń bẹ̀rẹ̀, bẹ́ẹ̀ ti dàgbà báyìí. I pray for àmójúkúrò àbí. I ask for ìtẹ́lọ́rùn. I ask for ìdáríjì ẹ̀ṣẹ̀. I want to appeal to you here in the presence of this gathering that whoever has offended you, that you ever thought you might not forgive, forgive him in the interest of your 60th birthday. God bless you.
Thank you.
Club, the Island Club. I would say it's the second home for Tunji Folami, because whenever we have a family occasion, he's always rushing to or from the Island Club. And he always tells me he saw Chief Shashore, Chief Jegede, and so many others. You are welcome most heartily, sir. I congratulate my nephew, our able and indefatigable secretary. He's the Secretary General to our family association, the Agbe Davis Descendants Union. His mother, late Alaja Shalewa Folami, was my older sister. And the other sisters are the mothers of the two ladies on that table. But Fuji didn't say, because he's very vibrant and active on his father's side as well. He didn't say because he's a Folami and abandoned the Davis side, the mother side. He's so active and so diligent. Even when we think things are impossible, he has a way of bringing positivity to the occasion, and things get done. That's a plus for him. I think it deserves a round of applause. And he doesn't mind traversing the whole of Lagos, moving from Ogudu to the island, to Surulere, to Akoka, to get members to respond to our events. Today, the head of the family, the Olori Ebi, sent word that I should, on his behalf, greet Tuji and wish him well for his 60th birthday. And he prayed that he will celebrate 70 in good health. He will celebrate 80 in abundance. And all his children will find favor with God. And they will always do good things in his lifetime. Oh, ni gbọ́mọ jù sí gbó, ọmọ ò ní kú mọ́ ẹ lórí, ìyàwó náà ò ní kú mọ́ ẹ lórí. From grace to grace, forward and forward ever. In our family union, the Olori Ebi is in Ibadan. Due to old age, he can not make it here many times. But I'm the secretary of the Agbe Davis Descendants Union. Huh? Okay. I'm the president of the Agbe Davis Descendants Union. And Tuji is my able secretary. And before all of you, I want to thank him most sincerely for the part he plays in our affairs of the family. We wish him well, many happy returns of the day, and long life, prosperity, and goodness of God in your life. I thank you all for coming. Thank you.
I don't know where to start talking about my very wonderful Aburo. I'm 23 days older than him. How are you, Aburo? How are you? The relationship between Tuji and I can say we met actually before we met. We met about 57 years ago when we didn't know each other. We went to the same nursery school. We went to the same primary school. We went to different secondary schools in the same state. And we went to different universities in the same state. When I got married 31 years ago, Tuji Folami was my best man. When he got married 27 years after, I was expecting my second baby. I was his best man. So we do everything together. When I joined Immaculate Club 17, I told him about the club, and we paid. He became a member. Of course, my number is before his. When we heard about the Island Club, we both came, we got our forms, we joined the Island Club. I raised the check for the two of us, but his number came before mine. So he's always saying, if I'm a senior in everything, he's my senior in the Island Club. I give that to him. Tuji Folami is a very wonderful, dependable guy. Tuji is a guy who will give his today for your tomorrow. And that's the person that he is. Give it to him. And that's a man who failure does not exist in his dictionary. If you say it's not possible, he will tell you the Englishman who said not possible also has a word that is possible.
So he's a very optimistic guy. He gives his all at everything. Bimbo Ashuru actually talked about some certain areas. I won't go there because it's not a speech-making day today. I want the guys to enjoy and listen to music and dance. Tuji Folami, celebrate many more decades in exceedingly good health. You will never lack as long as you live. Men will favor you. Women will favor you. The youths will have compassion on you. And the aged will have compassion on you. Happy birthday and many happy returns today. God bless you.
Thank you, Bayo Ali. But I have on reserve this your life.
I'm happy to be here. Tunji is my very good brother and a very selfless person. If I'm not in Lagos, I'll make sure I'll be here today. Tunji is good. When I say somebody is good, Tunji is good. I've known Tunji all his life, so I have good things to say about him. Although I'm the eldest of our father's children, but I work hand in hand with Tunji because Tunji is good. Call him anytime, any day, we answer you. I wish him all the best, and I pray that he lives long, in good health, in joy, and in abundance. Amen. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me just pay my respect to the chairman of Island Club, Prince Rabi Oluwa, the vice chairman of Island Club, all our trustees that are here, all our past chairmen that are here, past vice chairmen. I really don't want to take too much of your time. I cannot sit down there and see my good friend celebrating his 60th birthday and refuse to talk. Tunji Folami is somebody that I've known, I think, over 40 years ago. Myself and Tunji Folami and Bayo Ali, we are almost classmates because all of us were in school when we joined the junior wing of Rotary Club International, and that is Rotary Club. Tunji has always been an active person, very active. Call on for Nkemamau because it is their house. I think that bus stop in Ogudu, yes, was named Folami Bako bus stop. It is in their house. Latiman Seunje Taman Belo fun Rotary functions. I did not know Tunji Folami in Island Club, and I did not know Bayo Ali in Island Club. Bayo Ali was more rascally than Tunji. I can say this. And let me now tell you something that you may not have known about Tunji. Tunji is so social, very, very social. And I think that cost him to be a lawyer. He would have been a lawyer, but he had to leave law and go to political science. Tunji, you will celebrate more bad days on earth. I thank God that I witnessed your 60th birthday, and by the grace of God, you will celebrate more bad days. I thank everybody that are here. Tunji is a very good friend, and he will remain a good friend. Thank you.
Written. Tunji and I had been speaking technologically. I just come right away from Egypt, and almost spot on like an albatross. My decision to pass Ijebu through what they call that place, gone. I'm a first son, okay. But thank God we're here. I have never attended any event at this venue before. So the first question I asked the celebrant was, how come this is happening? He says, number one, he's been hosted by the club itself, and Let me now add the other one. He had left because he's trying not to be. That must show you that the club appreciates you. I'd like you to please put your hands together for this wonderful man again. And my own, you know, I don't know if I'm not even getting myself together. I would rather say he had your back, not the care of Kosi. Because Bubu had a lunch,